At my heaviest, I was 80 kilograms. I was 15 years old, and my height was only about 5 foot 5, 5 foot 6. That's borderline obese. Like not completely obese, but I was hitting the point of getting obese. In a matter of couple of years, I'm right now 64 kgs and 13 to 14% body fat, and I saw my abs for the first time in my life. I know it took a long time, but I was able to do it. And the biggest lesson I've learned during these years is that your relationship with food matters a lot more than you think in terms of losing weight. And this might seem kind of simple, but you don't really know the gist of it. And I hate using this word relationship with food because it sounds kind of gay, but this is the truth. Back when I was 80 kilograms, my relationship with food was so bad. I want to tell you a quick story. Basically, what I used to do when I was a kid was whenever I found a food that I really liked, I used to eat till the point that I actually vomited. Like I could not physically eat more food and I vomited. And that's how I grew up. And that's why I was able to get to 80 kilograms, such an incredible feat at around 15 years old. And it was because I just used to overeat on everything. I did not know what a normal portion of food looked like. In my family, in my, general social community in my country, overeating is so valued. I don't know why. But if, some random uncle overeats, everybody praises them. And if someone does not eat, they are told, bro, why are you not overeating? Right? And it sounds like back at that time, I was like, yeah, shit, I should be overeating because, I have seen the culture around me which values overeating. And right now I was like, bro, why are we like this? Even to this day, when I'm on a cut and I'm eating really less, not like really, really less, but I have smaller portions than usual, my mom, she gets visibly sad. And if I overeat on food, if I somehow crash on my diet and eat a bunch of rice and meat and all that kind of stuff, my mom gets visibly happy. She's like, oh my God, you eat a lot of food, thank you. And again, right now, okay, I'm capable enough to think for myself and I'm like, no, this is not going to work out. I want to be I want to get to the best shape of my life. This is not going to work out. But when I was around 8-year-old, 9-year-old, that shit is not going to clock into me, right? I was going to be like, shit, my mom praised me for eating a lot of food, and hence I should be eating more food. That's how I thought. And obviously, I don't want to blame my mom. I love her. I love her more than anyone else. But I was a kid back then. I didn't know better, right? And I was able to get fat. Let me tell you how I went on to actually lose weight. The first time when I lost weight, it was in 2022, and the thing that I discovered at that time was tracking my calories. And tracking my calories, it kind of gave me what's the right word? It kind of like literally changed my worldview around things. You might think that I'm taking that to a little bit of a stretch, but it genuinely changed how I saw the world. Because before tracking calories, I did not know how much a normal human being ate. I had no idea. I had no perception of what a normal plate of food with the right proportion looked like. When I started tracking calories and I knew about my maintenance calories, which was around 2,400 calories, I realized, okay, if I eat anything less than 2,400 calories, I'm going to lose weight. I typically eat 3 meals in a day, so that's around how much? 800 calories every single meal. I looked at 800 calories of food and I was like, shit, this is a typical plate of food that people should be eating. That was the first time in my life I felt like that. And my relationship with food kind of changed in terms of proportion. I knew how much proportion I should be getting, and that kickstarted my weight loss. At that time in 2022, I was under a busy schedule. I had a big exam that was coming up, and I basically used to be in school for 12 hours a day. My school started at 6 in the morning. For that, I had a long commute. I had to wake up at 4:30 every single day. I catched a bus at like 5:20, reached school at 6. I came back home at around 6 p.m. I would do my workout and everything. I would eat my dinner. I would sleep. And my 2 meals were in school. And I basically hated the food that was served in school, so I skipped most of those meals. And because of that, I was only eating around 1,000, 2,000, like not even 2,000 calories. And as a result, extend that over 9 months. As a consequence, I was able to lose weight. After that, I joined the gym because I had a lot more free time now. And I wanted to bulk up because, I could not see any muscle on me. and I bulked up to around 74, 75 kilograms. And I wanted to lose weight again. I wanted to go on a cut, but that was the time when I struggled the most because my relationship with food, it hadn't been fixed at all. I was in this mindset of, okay, if I track my calories, even though if I eat anything, I'll lose weight, which is kind of true on paper. But no, let me ask you this question: which is better, 300 calories worth of ice cream or 300 calories worth of ice cream or 300 calories worth of potato? It is 300 calories worth of potato, because even though both of them are 300 calories, both of them are carbohydrates. If I eat 300 calories worth of ice cream, I'm gonna get super hungry. It's not gonna be that filling. There's gonna be a lot of sugar. There's gonna be no fiber at all, and I'll be craving more sweet food. But if I eat 300 grams of potatoes, I'm not going to be craving that many foods. It has a big volume, it has some fiber in it, and so I'll feel satiated, and it's actually good for my health as well, as compared to eating a bunch of random chemicals that is found in the ice cream. I did not think like that back then. I used to try and fit junk food into my diet, and that was a recipe for disaster. I always crashed out onto my diet. I would be sticking to my diet 2 or 3 days in a row, and I would always crash out, and I hit a plateau. And because I was hitting a plateau, I knew I could lose weight. I knew what to do to lose weight, but because I could not lose weight back then, bro, it literally started giving me mental problems, because I was feeling shit about myself. I was literally feeling shit about myself. I thought, there was no hope for me, that I cannot lose weight, and I almost gave up. But something crazy happened. I discovered intermittent fasting. I discovered this entire lie of just looking at your food with only the calorie number, and I started looking at food from that point onwards into a little bit more depth. I started factoring in nutrition, how many ingredients it went, the food was comprised of, and I switched to a whole food diet. And I kid you not, intermittent fasting and whole food diet was the diet that got me lean, that was able to help me see my abs for the first time in my life. Intermittent fasting was a big change to me, because I always used to wake up and eat a lot of food, and that was not particularly because I was hungry, but because I had a routine of eating food first thing in the morning. So when I was at around grade 6, grade 7, I used to wake up, 2 pieces of toast, 3 to 4 eggs, some peanut butter, some jam, some honey, a tall glass of milk and everything, and that was my breakfast. And I used to eat that at around 6 a.m. in the morning, and at 6 a.m. in the morning, bro, I had already consumed around 1,000 calories, and I used to go to school, eat lunch at around 10 a.m., and that was my diet, and no wonder I gained weight. But with intermittent fasting, till 12 p.m., 1 p.m., I didn't eat any food. Right now, it's 4:39 p.m. as I'm recording this. I haven't had anything. I just had a black coffee and 1 Diet Coke. And intermittent fasting helped me realize that I'm not hungry every time. And even if I'm hungry, I don't genuinely have to eat food. And it kind of trained my hunger. It trained this ability inside of me. How you do bench press, and you grow your chest and you train your chest. Intermittent fasting trained me that I don't need food every time, right? So because of intermittent fasting, and I got myself into this habit of, okay, I don't really need to eat food, I was able to avoid so many crash outs in my diet. When I got hungry in the night, not because I hadn't had food, but because I was craving some food, because intermittent fasting gave me training of trying blocking that hunger signals away, and it could not be scientific, but it changed my mindset. I was like, okay, how many times am I going to repeat this? If I'm hungry, I was like, I don't need to eat food. Same thing happened at night. I got hungry. I was like, I don't need food. I did something else. Boom, calories saved. I didn't, crashed out onto my diet later in the evening, later in the night, which I used to do before. So intermittent fasting, if you're not doing this and you're struggling to lose weight, I highly recommend you get into intermittent fasting. Next is eating whole foods. Just like I said, try not to have junk food into your diet. Yes, you can go for junk food once in a while, maybe once a week, maybe even twice a week if you can manage it. But if you can eat really whole foods, if you can just eat whole foods, this will completely change the fat loss game. It'll be so much easier for you. And what you need, my friend, is you need a brain dead formula. Because when I was plateauing with losing weight, I was tracking calories, and I was trying random diets. I used to do a lot of things. I used to overthink my calorie consumption. I was like, oh, for breakfast I ate 400 calories. That gives me 800 calories for my lunch, and then I used to overthink. But when I had a brain dead formula, which is the diet. Okay, this was the diet that helped me get from 74 kgs to 64 kgs, helped me see abs for the first time in my life. It was literally 7 to 8 eggs first thing at around 12 to 1 p.m. Piece of fruit before my workout, and after working out I used to eat any kind of meat that would give me 50 grams of protein, couple that with some vegetables, and later at night I used to down a protein shake, and throughout the day I used to get 150 grams of protein, around 1600-1700 calories, couple that with 10,000 steps and 15 minutes of cardio. I was losing weight. I was well below my maintenance calories. I was losing weight. I did that same thing for around 6 months. I lost a lot of weight, and I'm even losing weight right now. So that was the brain dead formula that I used, and I stuck to that. I stuck to that formula even when I wanted to cope, and I was like, I could, eat some junk food, it'll still come under my maintenance calories. I was like, no, I have a brain dead formula, and I want to stick to that. And that is what you need. You need a brain dead formula in order to lose weight. Craft yourself a diet and stick to that diet. Do not overthink. We try to overthink. We try to complicate things for our way order. We try to get all scientific, and we crash out on our diets. Do not do that, right? Have a brain dead formula. And after you have your brain dead formula, you just need time and patience. You need to give yourself some time. It's not going to happen in the first month. It's not going to happen in 2 months. It's not going to happen in 3 months. Me personally, to see my abs for the first time in my life, it took me around 3 years from the point when I wanted to see abs. No, not wanted to see abs. I wanted to see abs when I was around 8 years old. When I actually lost weight for the first time in my life, it took me 3 years after that to actually have proper visible abs. Let that fucking sink in, right? So it's gonna probably take a lot longer than you think. So you might as well enjoy the process instead of rushing things. Instead of rushing things and crashing out, you might as well enjoy the process and be chill about it. Be like, okay, I'll give my inputs, I'll do what's necessary without expecting anything in return, right? So that's basically pretty much it. I know I yapped on for 12 minutes, almost 30 minutes. But I wanted to get back into making YouTube videos again, and this was a quick little action step that I took. I plan on making vlogs. I'm shooting a vlog right now. It's gonna be insane, and I'll plan on, and I'll make these kinds of videos, but I'll have more intention to it. I mean, I did have intention to this as well, but I can certainly make better videos than this and deliver more value and all the kind of stuff. So yeah, if this video helped you, drop a like, subscribe, the normal YouTuber things. Catch you in the next one.